I, like so many of you, I'm sure, open my wardrobe, which is bursting with clothes. Like, I am squeezing clothes in, but I still end up reaching for the same few garments. I still never have anything to wear. So I have decided to re-sew my wardrobe. Basically, I did a bit of a Marie Kondo. I took everything out of the wardrobe, and I mean everything. Everything came out of the wardrobe and the drawers. I put back the things that I do wear that I want to keep, and then I made 3 other piles. I made a pile to send to charity. I made a pile to send to the tip, because they were just beyond doing anything with. You know, they're garments that have been worn a lot and have got holes in and just a tatty, are beyond any kind of repair. So they went to the tip. I have a pile of clothes that are in good condition, clothes that I've made, but because I've made them and they don't have care labels in, I don't think I can send them to the charity shop. So I'm really lucky that in Southampton we have a scrap store, and you can go and you can donate fabrics, scrap materials, scrap paper, anything basically. You can donate it to this craft store, and then people who work for preschools, for youth clubs, for after school clubs, schools, adult clubs, any of these things can take out a membership, and they can basically go, and with their membership card they can fill up bags of crafty things to then do things with at their groups. I think isn't that amazing? That is such a great idea. I don't know if other towns do that as well, but definitely look up scrap stores in your area. So there was a pile of clothes that the fabric, the material, I've maybe lost interest in. So they have gone to, or they are ready to go to the scrap store, because let's be honest, we clear out our wardrobes and then they live in bags in the spare room or in the boot of the car for a couple of months before we actually get around to do anything with. Am I right? The last pile then I have here, and these are garments that I have made over the last 6 years, I think is the oldest one there. And I still love the fabric and I want to reuse it, but for whatever reason I don't wear these garments. Some of them don't fit me anymore, because my body's changed over, obviously, in the last 6-7 years. Some of them I don't wear anymore. Some of them I made and then it just ended up not being quite right, just not being my style, not fitting my body properly, that kind of thing. One garment I need to do something with because I spilt tea all over the front and couldn't get the stain out. So, but there's good fabric there. There's still good fabric there. Most of these fabrics are from SewHayleyJane boxes over the last 6 or 7 years. So yeah, I still want to wear these fabrics, just not as these items. So I am planning once a month to take one of these garments and refashion them. And I've already done the first one. Is this one. I've already done it. So these started like, this fabric is a viscose that was in the SewHayleyJane classic boxes a couple of years ago, and I turned them into the Helen's Closet Winslow culottes, which I will insert a little video of me wearing them here. I did love them and I always got compliments wearing them, but they just don't feel quite right. I think because I am bigger on the top, on the bottom, I feel like I was drawing attention to the bit of me that I didn't particularly want to draw attention to, if that makes sense. So I think I prefer to wear solid colours on my bottom half or more muted prints on my bottom half. The other thing is, I made them elasticated at the waist, but they just never want to sit in the right place. So I was constantly shifting them, I was constantly pulling them up, trying to get them to sit right and trying to get them to sit level, because, you know, my body moves. So they kept moving and they ended up being wonky a lot of the time. I just wasn't loving them. Basically, I just wasn't loving them. So, but I love the fabric, so I've decided to refashion them. And I made it into a blouse. Obviously the culottes, Winslow culottes, take a lot of fabric, so there was lots of fabric there to play with. I did have to be a bit sneaky with the way I use some of the fabric. So the arms, for example, the sleeves have a seam along the top, which was the outside leg seam of the culottes. But the print is so busy, it's not massively noticeable. So what have I made? I made the Atelier Scämmit Anae Blouse. This also was in the SewHayleyJane luxury boxes last year, if I remember rightly. I love that it doesn't have a collar. I love that it's a blouse, a shirt without a collar, so it feels nice and feminine, which I really, really like. This is going to be what I'm going to call a wearable toile. There are definitely some tweaks still to make. The biggest one, which most people won't notice, but you're sewists, so you probably notice, the sleeves are, the shoulders are massive on me. So the shoulder seam is down here. It should be here. Can you see that? That's where it lifts up, but it should be here. I didn't think I had, I mean, I do have narrow shoulders. I didn't think they were that narrow, but there we go. So I am constantly doing a bit of this and a bit of this. And then the neckline is then gaping a little bit as well. So it's a couple of things to figure out. The other thing I did, which I'm quite proud of myself, I did some pattern, what would you call it? Pattern rearranging. So the pattern, the biggest size, was just going to be a little bit snug on my hips. Where did I do it in here? So I cut a size 48 at the shoulders and the bust, and then from the waist, can you see what I did here? I drew a horizontal line across the waist where the waistline is, and then vertical lines up to there, and I did a bit of slashing and spreading in order to spread the hip area out a little bit more. And it's worked. It still needs a bit of adjustment. There's definitely a bit of a sway back issue going on at the back, so that means it's a bit too tight still around my bottom, and then there's pooling of fabric in the small of my back. But this is definitely wearable. I'm not going to worry too much about these things, about perfect fitting. Life's too short for perfect fitting with a lot of the things that we wear. Obviously, if you're making like a wedding dress or a prom dress or a fitted dress, then fitting is pretty important. But with this kind of thing, I'm not too worried. I'm wearing it with wide leg jeans, and I quite like just sort of doing the French tuck, tucking it in at the front and then leaving it loose at the back. So I'm really enjoying that. And I love the cuffs as well. So I've turned the cuffs up, but if I just pull it down, can you see it's got this notch here and a little, a little pleat here as well. So that's really a cute detail, and I love it. I really love it. I'm definitely going to get more wear out of this as a blouse than I was as the trousers. Looking forward to some warmer weather for it though, because it does feel very cold just to wear a viscose blouse at the moment without anything else underneath or on top. It's still flipping freezing. That's this month. I don't think there's anything else to say. A wearable toile, very wearable, needs a bit more tweaking. I love it. The pattern, by the way, it's a French pattern company, Atelier Scämmit. It's definitely, you definitely need to know a bit of sewing before you tackle a pattern from Atelier Scämmit. The instructions are pretty minimal. They do have QR codes throughout the instructions that send you to their YouTube channel. Obviously the YouTube channel is in French, but you can get subtitles. But to be honest, I just found it useful just watching what she was doing. I didn't really need to hear what she was talking about because I could see what she was doing and then it all made sense. But yeah, the instructions are definitely minimal. So you do need to have a bit of sewing under your belt to tackle one of these ones. What do we think? Do we love this idea? I love this idea. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 garments here. So that's more than one a year. One a month for a year. So the next one I am going to do is this, which was or is currently a Tilly and the Buttons indigo dress in double gauze that was in SewHayleyJane boxes maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was before we were in this studio. It was in our old studio. So yeah, it's got to probably be about 4 years ago. So it's this beautiful double gauze with this little dandelion print on it. I don't wear it. I don't think I massively like the style. I also, the facing bugs me. I have this issue with facings. I do the facings, I sew it exactly as you're supposed to, but they still want to poke out. So with more recent makes, I've started top stitching facings down or swapping out the facing for a bias binding. I have talked about this before on YouTube. So the facing bugs me, and then also it's kind of lost a bit of colour around the neckline as well. So I'm going to change this, and I think I'm going to make something for Mia out of this. Tentatively, I say very tentatively, she is 6 and she is a bit of a fusspot when it comes to clothes. She wants to wear dresses, but she doesn't like anything. So yeah, she's fussy. She doesn't want anything, everything itches. Obviously she's 6, everything itches. She doesn't like big, like frilly sleeves, puffy sleeves, so it's got to be a simple, either sleeveless, so a thick strap, or a plain like t-shirt sleeve. And then I'm thinking, there is a pattern that I've seen and I can't think off the top of my head who it is. And it is the pattern, the front cover of the pattern looks like a double gauze as well, in a sort of rusty brown colour, and it's got buttons down the front and then a gathered skirt, and it's very cute. It's very, very cute. I think she'd look great in it. I think Mia would really suit it. Whether or not she wears it though is another matter, but there we go. So that's what I'm thinking, because we've got lots of skirt. It's a gathered skirt. There are pockets, so obviously I'm going to do away with those. Oh, that's the other thing. When I sewed the pockets and I snipped into the pockets, I snipped, there's a hole there, which I never got round to fixing. It's a very easy fix, but I never got around to doing it. So yeah, we've got a back and a front bodice, which I can obviously make into a back and a front bodice in a child size, and a gathered skirt, and there's sleeves. So I think there is more than enough. Obviously Mia's 6, so there's loads of fabric here, and I can definitely make something for her out of this. So let me know in the comments what you think. Are you going to join in? Do you need to do a bit of a wardrobe edit? Is there some garments sat unworn and unloved in your wardrobe? I am the worst when it comes to this kind of thing. I am not interested generally in fixing clothes or refashioning them. I just want to move on to the next new pattern, the next new thing. But because of that, I have all of these that are sat unloved, and the fabric's beautiful and I don't want to waste the fabric. I want to wear the fabric. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it once a month, and you should do it too. Let me know if you're going to do it. Let me know what you think of this, and let me know what you think I should make for Mia out of this. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day, and I will see you all really soon. Bye.